can never see it with my glasses. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning fishing report. I'm out here this morning with Don Birdie, and we worked them out this morning. But before we get into that, a couple things real quick. Head on over to YouTube and check out the prize package giveaway video. All the instructions for everybody out there that's watching this morning report to enter in for a chance to win a new rod, a fishing trip, a bunch of tackle, all kinds of cool stuff. Dinner, out, a deer processing. We have more stuff coming. So go over and check out that video because all the details, all the entry form deal is right there. So go check that out over on the YouTube channel, The Awakening Angler. Item number 2. I was over at the launch this morning with one of the Douglas Rods guys, Chancey Walters, who's fishing the B.A.S.S. Northern Open today. It was an unbelievable morning. I got to sit in the boat with him, talk a little bit, and even while he launched the boat, I felt like the coolest kid in the block right there, I'll tell you. I was just like a little kid. I love fishing. I love being around all those cool boats. It was a lot of fun. So then my day gets better. So we had planned to fish. I had planned to fish with Don this morning, and I said, well, I got this to do, but they're going to launch at 6. So I said, I'd love to go fishing this morning, but can we do it a little later? Well, Don said, sure, of course, but he went out this morning. And early before 6 a.m. when he came back and got me, you weren't on him,
no.
First thing, but a friend of ours was.
Yep. John was on him.
JR, as we affectionately refer to him, JR. And he smoked the limit pretty early and had quite a few fish that he missed because his net man was terrible from what we hear. So Don and I got out here. It's almost glass. It's this little bit of wind is variable back and forth. And I started getting him on a gold and purple blade bait. Don took him a little while to get moving, and then he started getting him on a gold blade bait as well. The beauty of what I'm going to say this morning is Don and I were fishing very differently. Same bait, but very differently. You are far more of a, even with a blade, of an aggressive jigging, snapping presentation with that blade. And this morning I was on the other side of that. I was bringing my tip and just going 1, 2, 3, drop it. 1, 2, 3, drop it. And early on, they were all over that slow and easy presentation. And it took a while for us to find the right fish for you to start tuning them in. But when you did, at one point you had me probably 3 or 4 to 1.
You know, the thing that I said is I try to fish like you. And when I said, no, I'm going to fish like me, then I started catching fish. And that's your point all the time.
Nothing is ever any one thing all the time. So we were 15 feet apart, fishing basically the same lure, and we were getting them on 2 vastly different presentations. So when anybody tells you there's only one way to do something, that's not true. That's not true. We proved that this morning, and John, our friend John, was only 100 feet from us, and he was snapping a jig and wrap hard. John's a snapper, boy, and he's really getting that aggressive reaction bite, and all 3 of us were catching fish within a 100-foot circle. So, and good ones too. I mean, I would say between you and I, we had double-digit walleyes, and
Yep.
I don't think we had a limit. We let everything go today. I don't think we had a limit of keepers, but we would have been close.
Oh yeah,
if
definitely.
we were keeping, you know. Not to mention, I think we had 6 or 7
Sunnies.
sunfish, like this big sunfish, just enormous sunnies.
And don't forget about the toad.
And right at the end, we ended the day on a sheep's head I stuck. I shouldn't say I stuck it. He woofed it. He took that whole rear treble of the I-1 blade bait. I felt him take it, and I set the hook like this. And you always think right off the bat, I got a giant walleye. Until he starts peeling drag. Then you're like, well, it's not a walleye. It's got to be something else. And I don't know, that sheepy was, if he wasn't 10 pounds, he was pretty close.
I would have to say at least 10 pounds.
He was pretty close. And that was on. So another cool thing today was I had both my Douglas XMATRIX rods with me. I had my 683, which has been my dedicated blade rod. I gave that to Don this morning. I said, here, fish this, try this. And then I was fishing the other XMATRIX I just got, that 763, 7.5 foot, and I got it for throwing swim baits, small swim baits, a long ways and really precisely. But I'll tell you, it fishes a blade pretty well. It fishes a jig and wrap really well. And we gave those rods a workout today.
Well, I'm hooked. I'm definitely hooked.
What they're doing over at Douglas is impressive, and these XMATRIX rods are really cutting edge, high-end rods. And yes, they're expensive. There's no question about it. You know, nothing good is cheap and nothing cheap is good. So
that's a fact.
And unfortunately, that is a fact. And any of us that hunt, God, you don't put a cheap scope on your rifle if you're going to go out, you know, and look to target something big. You don't buy a cheap pair of binoculars because you get a cheap pair of binoculars. Like, the fishing rod industry is similar in that way to the optics industry, and that is you get what you pay for. And this carbon nanotechnology that this company is using, and the company's based out of Phoenix, New York, which is another reason, in my opinion, to support. But I wouldn't support somebody that was making an inferior product, and these guys aren't. So
I got a public service if we can.
Public service announcement.
It doesn't always happen when you're coming out on a jet ski. It could happen on a boat that's not drifting. Have a drink in your boat because you inhale bugs and you can't breathe for a while. So always have a drink of whatever is your drink in the boat handy, because I'm still gagging from the bug I swallowed.
And then the coffee that you didn't want to drink. It was all we had left on the boat to drink, other than lake water, was this much bottom of my coffee, a cup of coffee, a Paul de Lima coffee, which I never go on the water without. And I'm like, here, that's all I got, because I swallowed one. I'm trying to wash it down, and Don's like, oh God, it's crazy, because these little bugs with no wind out here, these little things are crawling all over. And we did see quite a few remnants of a mayfly hatch last night on the water this morning. Air temp when we left the dock was in the 60s. I had somebody online ask me if I would divulge depths we're fishing in too on these daily fishing reports, and yes, we're in
19 right now.
Yeah, we've been in from 17 to 20 all morning.
73.6 water temperature.
High sun, no drift. And we're jigging walleyes. We're not trolling them, we're jigging them, and they're still biting. So there was plenty of fish out here to be had this morning in this particular spot, but I would assume that the rest of the lake will set up the same way. So I think that's it. Go over to YouTube, check out the new video, which is the rules and how to enter in the giveaway, because this giveaway is huge. Get involved. And I had a great time as always. Thank you, sir, for getting me off the jet ski and out here fishing with you.
You're welcome.
It's so nice to be able to stand up and cast as opposed to sit down. And as always, everybody, we'll do it together on 3. I don't care what your day brings. Keep your tip up. Keep your head moving. Keep going forward in a positive direction. That's what we're all doing for each other. And if you see somebody struggling, especially if you're a part of our group, say to them, hey, brother, on 3. Keep your tip up.
Keep your tip up.